Yeah, welcome to Sports Central on EzeSportsTV. We are back to talk football once again, and it's all about the EPL as usual. I have Harris with me today. Of course, we are going to be looking at the Super Sunday game between Manchester City and Liverpool. Harris, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
What a day we have in our hands is a day. A day a lot of people have, seen to be one of the days that might determine who goes ahead to win the Premier League this season. The week 32 of the Premier League is seeing the table toppers in Manchester City and Liverpool locking horns today at the Etihad Stadium. Harrison, how do you see this particular game today?
Well, this game can go a long way to decide how the season will turn out. On the other hand, it might not. But we're looking at two teams that have been so phenomenal this season going forward. They've defended so well. They've won good games. They've played so well, even when they don't play so well. And we saw Liverpool in the last game against Watford. That wasn't the Liverpool we've seen all season, but they were able to grind out results, winning 2-0, keeping clean sheet. That is when you want to be a champion. That is the kind of performance that is expected of you. City, on the other hand, made a statement by bouncing back immediately, winning Burnley 2-0 right there away from home. So, I mean, every football-loving fan would be excited to see what is going to happen today. It's going to be a difficult one for someone to predict because when we look at how the first fixture of this encounter went right there at the Anfield, it was City coming back from behind twice to get an equalizer. Liverpool played that game. I mean, you watch City play, you know City always dominate game when they play against any opposition. But in that particular fixture, it was all Liverpool. I mean, they dominated the game. They created chances. They scored first. But City being City, of course, the defending champions, how strong they are. They came back in that particular game twice. That shows how good they are too, because they are Manchester City, of course, the defending champions. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be something. This is the biggest game as far as football is concerned in the whole world this particular weekend. I mean, everybody in the whole world is talking about this game, so I'm excited, to see what is going to happen at the end of today.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about how the first leg went. I mean, isn't this beautiful? I mean, these are at the start of this season, Chelsea were kind of in the conversation because of how they played last season under Tuchel, winning the Champions League and all that. But look at the way Manchester City and Liverpool have blown away every opponent they have faced. 1 point separating both of them. The way they have handled the matches. Even when they are in so many competitions. Of course, you know that both of them are going to be facing each other in the FA Cup semi-final very soon. And of course, they are still very much in the Champions League, even winning the first leg of the quarterfinal fixtures. I mean, these two teams have proven to be one of the best teams in the world. And you can't just separate Man City and Liverpool, can you?
No, I mean, you can't. I mean, looking at the two teams, the way they've played in the league, City on 73 points, Liverpool on 72 points, 30 games each. Liverpool about 57 goal difference, and then Manchester City is having about 52 goal difference. We've seen how they've actually performed in the Champions League. City over the week won Atletico Madrid 1-0 right there at the Etihad. All they needed to do is just to go to Spain this coming week and try to avoid defeats, and they will be in the Champions League semi-final. Liverpool already have one fit in the semi-finals. Of course, anything can happen. This is the Champions League, but I mean, looking at Liverpool and how good they have been, you would think that it's a done deal for them against Benfica. I mean, looking at these two teams, we've seen Pep Guardiola play most of the season without an out-and-out striker, and we've seen them score the kind of number of goals they've actually scored. That shows you how good what Pep Guardiola is doing with this Manchester City side. Everybody's talking. I mean, you have Gabriel Jesus. Why not play him? But he doesn't play with this guy. Sometimes he's Foden on the night. Sometimes it's Kevin De Bruyne. Sometimes it's Sterling. And whoever plays, you see City doing what they do. Since the Nations Cup, Mo Salah haven't actually scored a goal from an open play. But regardless of him being the Liverpool talisman, most of the goals and assists come through him. But you still see Liverpool winning their games without him. They've actually gone to 8 games unbeaten in the Premier League, and they've won all 8 games without drawing anyone. I mean, that shows you how good this team is. Diaz coming in to Liverpool. I mean, from defense to attack, these two teams, there is nobody you can say doesn't deserve a spot. I mean, these two teams are good. To me, Liverpool Currently, Man City, you'd say, playing the best football as far as the world is concerned. But then you look at the Liverpool side, who have the best player currently in the whole world. So, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, what a team in Liverpool we have in Liverpool. Let's talk about Liverpool now. The coming of Diaz into that squad. A lot of people have argued that Liverpool currently has the better squad than Manchester City, because we've always seen Manchester City as a team that has a upper hand in terms of the players depth and all that. When you talk about the options Guardiola always have on the bench, but Liverpool with Jota coming and in the summer, they still have Firmino who scores, who plays very well for the team, and you still have those two players, Mane and Salah. Going forward, you do actually agree to that agreement that Liverpool have now overtook Man City in terms of having better players, going forward?
well, I think it's a matter of a yes and it's a matter of a no. If I say no, you wouldn't say I'm wrong, and if I say yes, you also wouldn't say I am wrong. In that Champions League game, in recent time we've seen Jordan Klopp trying to play Sadio Mane in the first nine position, and in that particular game we saw Diego Jota and of course Roberto Firmino on the bench. I mean, not so many teams can boast of such having goal scorers like that on the bench. Diogo Jota currently is the second top scorer in the Premier League, and you have him on the bench. And of course, Roberto Firmino, a person who scores goal whenever he can. He's just a lovely guy.
Yes.
And of course, there's a Diaz right there. Divock Origi is still there. You don't take anything away from him. The few matches he has played this season, we've seen the kind of impact he has brought into the team. Manchester City, on the other hand, you can talk about Phil Foden, you can talk about Raheem Sterling, you can talk about Jack Grealish, and there's Riyad Mahrez right there, and of course Gabriel Jesus and the rest of them, and even Bernardo Silva. Sometimes you see him playing up front, and sometimes you see Pep Guardiola draw him back to the midfield. Liverpool and Manchester City, trust me, it will be difficult for me to give you a mixed 11 of Liverpool versus Manchester City, because everybody in these two teams are all phenomenal and world class.
So, what do you think these coaches will be doing in this game? I mean, there should be a formula, there should be a formation, there should be a way to get around this one. Of course, you can remember that in recent time we've seen this. I think Man City won the league recently by 1 point against the Liverpool side. Of course, Liverpool bounced back from that and won the league last time, and before Manchester City came back to reclaim, and they are the defending champion now. So, is there a possibility that this might determine who ends up winning this league? Because we still have 7 games after this game, as a matter of fact. But I mean, with the way these two teams are playing, you can hardly see anybody, stopping them and trying to take some points away from them. So, do you agree that this game will determine this league? And of course, how do you think these coaches should approach this game and try to make a win for themselves?
Well, the game can actually decide who wins the league at the end of the season. But when you look at the fixtures that Manchester City have left, and of course you compare that to that of the Liverpool, you see that Liverpool still have some tough games to play. But they've played all these tough games in the first half of the season, and they won most of these games. And this is Liverpool we're talking about. But this is also the Premier League. I mean, it's not a league where there's that much separation between the big boys and the smaller teams. Anybody can win anybody at the end of the day. Manchester City have lost 2 home games right there at the Etihad this season, and none of those defeats came from the side in the top 4. It's been from the teams outside the top 4, so anybody can win anybody. But when we look at how the season is going currently, you would think that Liverpool are actually unstoppable at the moment, as well as Manchester City. So whoever wins in this particular game will go a long way to decide who wins the league at the end of the season. And talking about tactics, of course, Manchester City will be missing one of their best defenders so far, in Ruben Diaz. But we saw their gameplay against Atletico Madrid. Nathan Ake playing in the left back, he struggled quite a whole lot. I mean, I feel if Atletico Madrid had come out to play, they focus on his position, they would have actually messed Manchester City up. But they were defending all throughout the game. But the few attacks they made came through that channel, and it was really, really dangerous for Manchester City. Maybe, just maybe, Kyle Walker will be available to play today's game, because Pep Guardiola says it's a 50-50 thing. He's not sure if he's going to be in the squad or not. But if Kyle Walker comes into play, then Cancelo will go back to the left-hand side. But if it happens to be Nathan Ake, on that left-hand side is going to be a problem because Mo Salah would, most likely want to take advantage of that. We saw his performance against Manchester City in the first leg. Of course, coming to Liverpool side, we've seen how they performed this season. Last season, Virgil van Dijk was out almost all the season. We saw how Liverpool performed poorly, but since he came back, Liverpool are back to doing what they know how to do best: defend well and attack you. But Manchester City, of course, they will be playing at the Etihad Stadium behind their fans. They would want to control the game like they always do against any team. Take their time, try to see if Liverpool doesn't allow them to play their football, hope to see if they can actually hit them on the counter-attack. I think the two coaches wouldn't actually change much. I've seen Liverpool play big games, and you hardly see Jurgen Klopp changing his game plan. And the same as Pep Guardiola. I think the two teams will come into this game hoping that my team will beat the best team of the day.
Well, a lot to wait and see in this particular game. I mean, Manchester City playing Liverpool in what seems to be the season decider. These are the two best clubs as far as EPL is concerned. They have shared the league between themselves in recent seasons, and this is a game that a lot of people are waiting to see how it's going to go at the end of the day. Of course, the fight for top four is still, bubbling. Chelsea with an emphatic win in this weekend fixture against Southampton, 6-0. That one ended. Of course, Arsenal have dropped some points again, losing 2-1 at home to Brighton. Of course, Tottenham is also doing well recently, and is now hitting up the fight for top four. Manchester United, of course, they are not doing themselves some favor after losing again at home against Everton. But the fight is still on. Arsenal, Tottenham in the mix. But we are still focusing on the star match of the weekend in a Super Sunday game between Manchester City and Liverpool. Of course, we have said it. It might be the decider on who wins this season. First of all, Harrison, who do you think is going to win this, carry the cup? I mean, the Premier League trophy.
I think Liverpool will win the Premier League trophy.
So do I need to ask you who wins today's game? I mean, if Liverpool is going to win this trophy, they need to beat Manchester City. Yeah. And how do you predict this particular fixture?
Well, if I'm being logical in my prediction, I would think this game was going to end on a draw. But looking at Liverpool and what they've done so far, they've gone 8 games in the Premier League without drawing any game. They've won all 8 games, and they've kept a reasonable number of clean sheets within this run of 8 games. We've seen how they've performed both in Europe and, of course, currently the EFL Cup winners. I mean, Liverpool are firing on all cylinders as well as Manchester City. But I think Liverpool have got that edge at the moment, with the momentum around the team, with the feeling around the team. So I think Liverpool is going to win this one 2-1.
2-1 win for Harrison right there at the Etihad Stadium. I wonder how Liverpool is going to do that. Manchester City will be playing at home with the home advantage and all that. A team like Manchester City that dominates possession against Liverpool, of course, we wait to see how that one goes. Right there at the Etihad Stadium, Liverpool, a team that have the chance of winning the quadruple. The coach have played down, not trying to put the pressure on the squad and all that. Of course, they are the EFL champions, as Harrison rightly said, winning against Chelsea right there in the League Cup final. Of course, still in the FA Cup semi-final. Of course, 1 feat already in the Champions League semi-final. Liverpool against Manchester City, the defending champion. They've done so well this season as well. In this particular one, Harrison has predicted a 2-1 win for Liverpool. We are going to be seeing if that will come to pass. Harrison, thank you for always doing this with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I remain Kester, the anchor of this show. It's the Sports Central on EzeSportsTV. All thanks to Ralph behind the cameras doing this for us every now and then. Enjoy the match, and thank you for always being with us.